Hi everyone, it's Margaret Duplashane, and today I wanted to talk to you about what to expect from your workouts when you're starting out with the keto and or intermittent fasting lifestyle. Quickly to introduce myself for those of you that are new, again, my name is Margaret. I am a 55-year-old fitness instructor, personal trainer, running coach, and I've been in the industry over 30 years. And during that entire time period, I was like most people. I lived my life on high carb, low fat as I could possibly get. And I was eating 5 or 6 times a day. And that worked until it didn't work. Somewhere along the way, as I probably was getting more into my late 40s, it seemed like I was going to have to work out even harder than I already was, which was kind of crazy because I, in my heyday, was teaching as many as 16 fitness classes a week and running on the side. I could not control my weight. I was full of inflammation, suffering from a lot of inflammatory issues like IBS, leaky gut, fibromyalgia used to really knock me on my butt. Finally, about a year ago, when I, at age 54, discovered this entire new world of intermittent fasting and eating ketogenically. And as scared as I was to try it, I did, and I have not looked back since. And all of the issues that used to be really driving my life and my health have all but cleared up, and it's really quite amazing. So that's just a quick intro about me. So again, today's topic: what do you do when you want to make the switch, but you're afraid to do it because you've been told, as most of us have, that in order to fuel any type of physical activity, you've got to have carbohydrates, and not just a few, but lots of them, perhaps even in the form of specially made pre and during workout drinks, goos and gels. The list goes on and on. So what happens? Well, first I want to kind of talk a little bit about the history behind this and the quantifications, why doctors and nutritionists still believe this. There were tests, many tests have been done by the people trying to prove that you do need carbs. But the issue is the timing of these tests, because they would put subjects through these, and these people would feel lightheaded, dizzy, weak, and tired. So it was easy to conclude that without carbohydrates, you were going to feel terrible. But we're going to circle back to these tests and why it was believed that you must have this and what the flaw was. But a little bit about history and where it kind of became that carbs had to be king. So in the period of time from about the 1850s to the 1930s, the hunting cultures were kind of being pushed away. So you have from the middle of the United States, the Plains states, all up into Canada, slowly those cultures are going away. One of the last ones left were the Inuits, and they're up in Canada and Alaska. They were able to be observed and their lifestyles, and it was documented before their diets had been altered. And it was noted that the Inuits were very, very strong physically, despite having a diet that was literally free of carbohydrates. It was like they just did not have any carbs. So there's one clue from history that the dependency on carbohydrates is overrated. Next, I want to tell you a quick little story about an expedition. This expedition left Hudson's Bay, which is up in Canada, in the spring of 1879, and they returned in March of 1880. There was a party of 18 people, and there was their Inuit guides. They were going to recover another expedition that was lost. They had their initial resources, but they went through them because they literally had to travel 3,000 miles on foot and sled over snow, ice, and tundra. Now, the Lieutenant Swatka that was heading up this expedition, it kept a diary that was hidden for many, many, many years, and it was recovered not too long ago. And there's a really interesting excerpt from his diary that we can learn from. And it's very short. I'm going to read it to you quickly. He says, "When first thrown wholly upon a diet of reindeer meat, it seems inadequate to properly nourish the system, and there is an apparent weakness and inability to perform severe, exertive, fatiguing journeys. But this soon passes in the course of 2 to 3 weeks." So what do you know? Ding, 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 ding. Lieutenant Swatka, before anybody was doing keto or intermittent fasting like we are now, and it's kind of the thing, he was noting about becoming fat adapted, and that it took 2 to 3 weeks. And then in the beginning, he was tired and weak, and it didn't seem like this was going to work, and then it was fine. And in this study that I read and printed up, of course, there's a lot more detail to their expedition, and he talks about the physical feats and pushing through to get back in a certain amount of time, and how physical they were on just meat. So, coming back to those tests that I was mentioning, the studies that really technically prove that you must run on carbs were only lasting about a week. It wasn't long enough for the subjects in the tests to give their body a chance to switch over and understand how to run on ketones. So, what does this mean for us? We want to take a page from the diary of Lieutenant Swatka. It's going to take time, and you're not going to feel that great in the beginning. Now, how much time is still debatable. There isn't any one size fits all. In the Lieutenant Swatka, it took him 2 to 3 weeks. For most people, you'll probably feel pretty good somewhere within 2 to 4 weeks. However, if you're a runner, and I know I went through this, running can take up to 12 weeks to really get up to full steam ahead. Personally, when I started this lifestyle, I was not running at the time. So all I had to adapt to was teaching my fitness classes, and they are all strength-based. And I honestly think I was through whatever adaptation period and feeling like really comfortable pushing strong within a couple weeks. And in the time that it took to adapt, I just kind of gave myself some grace. I was conservative with how much weight I was trying to put on my bars and lift in my body pump classes. And that part passed pretty quickly. I will tell you, when I started running again, I had been already fat adapted nutritionally, and I was doing fine with strength training workouts. Running definitely for me felt like starting over. I was very, very slow, and it was mentally depressing, but I kept doing research that told me to hang in there, and I did. And by around the 3-month mark, I would say, it took me almost that full 12 weeks. My running times were back where I needed them to be. I felt powerful and strong, and there was no issues, and I can run in a clean, fasted state, no problem. So you just need to give yourself time and not be afraid. So here's my top tips for you. 1, mentally prepare that if you're going to do this lifestyle and you are a fitness person, as I am, just be prepared. There's going to be a learning curve. Your body needs to figure out what it's got to do, and you just got to give it some grace and be prepared to perhaps lighten your loads a little bit, go a little bit slower, but know that that's just temporary. The other thing that you want to do is, again, trust that your body knows how to deal. Your body's made to deal. It knows how to run on stored body fat and convert it into ketones and put you into ketosis and have you feeling just fine. But you got to give it a chance. Last but not least, my final tip for you is, if you want to supplement, exogenous ketones are the way to go. Don't fall backwards and think, well, just for today, I'm going to do my pre-workout drink. The problem with that is now you're tricking your body to run on glucose again, and you're just going to prolong that process to get fat adapted. If you feel you need something and you want that boost of clarity or energy, exogenous ketones, or just putting more ketones in your body, it's not flipping your body into running on glucose. It will not prohibit the process. And if you want more information on that, just message me and I'm happy to share with you how I incorporate exogenous ketones into my keto life and intermittent fasting life. All right, so I hope you found this helpful and encouraging that you can have it all. You can live a keto life and you can work out strong and hard. All right, I'll talk to you next time.